Also on the docket today, Alden, we got a new video game coming out. A new Game of Thrones video game, a World of Westeros. It is War for Westeros, and I, for one, I was actually doing a job covering Summer Game Fest, and was quite surprised to see this classic real-time strategy game set in the vast world of Westeros. What are your thoughts on War for Westeros, and also just Game of Thrones video games in general?
Game of Thrones games in general are. I'll start there because it's a very easy history for me. I
Mm-hmm.
haven't played any of them,
Mm-hmm.
so that makes it a nice, easy, quick recap for me. I've always meant to get the Telltale, never did. I know
Mm.
it was never finished,
Mm-hmm.
at least narratively. Like I'm sure you can get a fun experience out of the one that there is, but
Yeah.
like I never went. I know that they had wanted to make more, and then the whole Telltale operation kind of fell apart after the Batman one or whatever they had done. But so I haven't played any of them. I know that they haven't had a lot of games that have hit. It's been a lot of
Yeah.
mobile things here and there. It seems like one of those things where it's like it's so rich that everybody's like, why not have a Baldur's Gate in this world? Why not have a Skyrim of this world? Why not have a Zelda of this world? Let me make a guy
Mm.
start with nothing and go through an adventure. Like it seems like so obvious.
Mm.
You should be able to Red Dead or Star Wars Outlaws your way
Yeah.
through the Seven Kingdoms. Like, and we haven't gotten there yet.
Yeah.
But this is exciting to me. I didn't expect real time strategy,
Mm.
but I immediately went to our friend Nikki Kumar and was like, I never thought of RTS for this world, but I see the vision. And like the trailer's cinematic.
Yeah.
It doesn't have gameplay, but they released images of
Yeah.
what it
Looking at
looks
that
like.
right now. Yeah.
And immediately my first thought was how fun it will be to like control the different kinds of legions.
Yeah.
Like you already can think, like as a nerd, you start to think like, wow. So it's like, we talked about House Mormont on our last episode. It's
Mm-hmm.
like, will a Mormont fighter be worth like way more in terms of strength? Like,
We're
will a
worth 10 men. Yeah.
Dothraki on an open field, Ned? Like, and then you see a dragon there. It's like an enemy dragon is probably going to be the most frustrating
Mm-hmm.
thing in the world. So I immediately started to have fun with it in my head and started to imagine like different commander styles, and I'm on board. I think
Mm.
this is a smart use of it, especially because of different house strengths and different castles and keeps and what they could bring to it.
Yeah. Yeah, look, I played the Telltale game. I liked, I think Eric Monroe in chat mentioned House Forrester. I thought it was a cool little addition. It was, all fit in, canon, if you will. I know that word can cause some issues in people's souls, but it was canon. It was good. I played a lot of the mobile games. I was one of those people for a while who had my little castle and try to form up and also fight other people. And they're boring, repetitive, but they're great games to fall asleep to. I even did the one where you're going north of the wall and you get your fighters and it's not a full game experience, but it's hard to do it with these kind of games. You're talking about Star Wars Outlaws, which I enjoy. I'm currently doing the DLC stuff that came out, the Pirates Bounty stuff. So, like having fun with it. KVS is a great character, but it's hard to do when it is a giant, vast world. But we're also familiar with the timelines and the stories and the big players. So it's hard to do a game where Han Solo shows up. Now the Battlefront 2 storyline mode had that bearded Han Solo stuff, and you can do it, but Red Dead it's its own world, right? So even some of the Lord of the Rings games that have come out have not been huge success. I remember the Battlefront like Lord of the Rings game that came out 15 years ago. Bought it like $60 at the time. Played it once. Never touched it again. Like literally came home that night. Yeah. Oh, never touched it again. It just didn't work for me.
Yeah.
So I think it's difficult to do, and this might be the right approach where it's even the cinematic trailer. It's if someone didn't see it, Jon Snow dies in it. He's he's a white I was almost called him an Iceman, but that's true too. um, but that pulled me in like right there. It's like, oh, okay, we could be disconnected from the story and have fun in the world.
This is gonna, it looks like it might. I don't know if it's gonna have a story mode. I don't know if it'll have campaigns, but it would be interesting if this had like a campaign thing where it was like, oh, you're the Lannisters now, and what if they succeeded, or what if you could run a campaign where you're Robb Stark and you don't make mistakes that will get you off later on, like let me play the Robb Stark campaign where he makes it south,
Yes,
like
that's
things
fun.
like that, like things like that would be fun. what ifs. Yeah, and what ifs have always been something you've done here on
Hmm.
Casterly Talk, even since the audio version
Yeah,
of the
the
show
Daily Thrones
while
days. Yeah.
GOT was running. Yeah, Daily Thrones. So that intrigues me, and to your point, like it frees them of a thing where it's like of the canonicity, where it's like
Mm.
sometimes they find fun ways around it. Like I think Outlaw's story did a
Yeah.
smart thing where it was like, well, if we place it here, Han's frozen and
Hmm.
Lando is running around, so it's like there's two narrative reasons why they're not in it at all or barely in it.
Hmm.
But with this, it's like unless you place us outside, it's you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't.
Hmm.
If you place us outside of the timeline, then the way that this world works, we end up with either great houses that are not yet great or houses that we don't really have an attachment to, and we don't have a show to get us attached like we did with like House Valarian,
Hmm.
where they're not in Thrones, but because Corlys is so great and because Rhaenys is so great, like we were able to build that love for them. Hard to do that in RTS.
Yeah.
Or you could place it firmly within the show's timeline, but then you'll just have players being like, why can't I just ride over to where that cool thing is happening? Like,
It's messing up
and
the
it's like,
timeline. Yeah.
yeah, it's just it becomes a
Okay
struggle.
with that.
Like if you made a Red Dead in the Westeros world set during the show, you would just have stubborn players getting on horseback and be like, I can make it all the way down there.
I
I
could
could
go
get all
join
the
the
way to
fight.
King's Landing. Like
See?
so,
Yeah.
this is I think is smart. Like Lauren Romo in the chat put out the idea in terms of a battlefront, and while this will not be that because this
Hmm.
is RTS, it could still follow her idea here of like maybe there's going to be a mode here where it's like, iconic battles and you could give
Yeah.
us the Trident, all the, you can give us Hard Home, you can give us like everything that we've done,
I think it might.
you know, I think that could
I,
be a lot of fun. And,
yeah.
these games are always built on units too.
Yeah.
So it's like, if you're doing Hard Home, it's like, maybe you need to spend X amount of points and you could bring in a giant,
Right.
or things like that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you're making me think of, I'm a fan of sports games and baseball, and I play MLB The Show, and often they have those modes that's like reenact famous moments in baseball history, things that have happened, and can you make them happen again, or can you change it? That's kind of fun in its own way, and I think what you're talking about is kind of fun. The idea of yeah, let's go to Hard Home. Let's go to the Battle of the Bastards. Let's see it. And like even Jared in chat saying, House Greyjoy will rule Westeros when I'm done. You get to kind of play with the what ifs like we were saying.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to give it a go. I'm going to give it a go. The trailer pulled me in. I was RTS games going back to Command and Conquer and those kind of games. I lost a lot of my life to those games in the early 2000s and 90s. So I'm excited to try to do it in this world.
What style of commander do you think that you're gonna be? When you play these, if you
Yeah.
go back in your memories of Command and Conquer, like how are you rolling? Are you like I'll outlast them and gather up my stores until they
Yep.
all
I'm a little that.
eventually give up?
Yeah, I'm a little that. I am gather and build, so I want the strongest fortress. But then I also try to. I don't overwhelm. Maybe my biggest mistake, I'm giving away strategy in case we ever play, is I'll send out smaller parties to do smaller amounts of damage, but more of them. Then and then I try to just be defensive. I want you to come onto my turf, and I want to knock you away. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
smart.
Because I feel like going back to the Command and Conquer, Age of Empires. Oh my God, Age of Empires. One night I played that game for so long, my friend came over to write a sketch with me. When I opened up the door, like my face was sweaty, my eyes were sweaty. I'd just been playing the game too long. That's how people die. You hear those stories of people dying at internet cafes playing games for 72 straight hours. I was like 6 hours into Age of Empires. Like, hey, oh God, what day is it? Yeah, I used to try to do the overwhelm thing. Let me send 50 trebuchets. Let me send that in, and then you watch as one by one they just get wiped out. You feel like the Dothraki. You're watching the Dothraki in the Battle of Winterfell. Just the flames go out.
All the lights go out. Great shot. Great shot for those of us that could see it with our good TV.
What's your style? And then what is one battle you would like to change and play in this game?
Well, I'm not going to take Romo's answer here, but I love this. Battle of the Bastards, but I have Rick on Zigzag. Yeah. That's how you beat the game. If you get Rick on the Zigzag, game over.
There's just a screen comes up and says,
platinum.
You don't need to delete the game. You're done.
Yeah, you've done it all. I think my strategy generally with these is also to fortify,
Yeah.
bait them, best defense. Like I love. I used to play a little bit of Command and Conquer when I was a kid.
Mm.
Like because my stepdad had it, so I would always jump on if he was not playing. And whenever you could bottleneck people in, I do that. Like Baldur's Gate's not an RTS, but because it functions like D&D, you can have sort of the same
Mm.
principles.
Mm.
Like you can also switch to like a top down if you want. And there are so many battles in that game where I'm just like, I think like Leonidas in 300 when they just like bottleneck all these guys in. Like their numbers don't mean anything if we could just hold this position.
Yeah.
And even when I've been playing Fortnite with the guys a little bit, I've also sometimes been on the Discord like, just hold this line. Like we don't need like. So
Hold the
I think
line.
about that. I'm not like Jared here. Blitz early, blitz
Going
often.
hot.
No,
Hot
that's,
drop. Yeah.
that's how you die.
Yeah, I used to play.
Uh,
Now just have a conversation about memories. I used to play Red Alert 2, which I agree, Jared, one of the best games of all time. And we'd play like I'd go to my one friend's house, and then my other two friends would be at another house, and we'd play. Right? Ooh, the future was here in 1996. Woo! And I had a friend like I'd be fortifying, and the other friend like he would do the blitz early, and it would work because if you caught me off guard, I'm baling hay while you're launching arrows at me, or in that game
yeah,
missiles. So we'll see. But what
yeah.
is
The
one
battles.
battle you want to redo and maybe change the outcome of?
I think it. I don't want to change the outcomes of battles of the people that I liked
Yeah, no, I
them
know it's
winning.
we
Like that's
love
the
the
thing.
story. I'd like to
Yeah, you love the
see.
stories.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's almost like maybe the things that I would want to change are not necessarily. Can I have Rob Stark go south without taking the twins somehow? I guess you need to take the twins because like that's what leads to the whole
take the
demise.
long
But
way around. They just get some boats. They go. Yeah, yeah. Okay.
yeah, take the long way, or maybe you can play as like I highly doubt they'll let you do this, but let me play as Roderick Cassell as a commander and successfully fend off Theon.
See, okay, but
Like
that's what
when
I'm talking
Theon
about. Yes,
betrays you, and let me hold Winterfell against this traitorous little bastard
yeah,
that we raised.
yes,
I know he was kind of a hostage, but
yeah,
but still.
yeah, a little bit, yeah, a little bit. Yeah, I like those. Yeah, Jared in chat says Blackwater. I think my mind goes there. That if you reverse that,
Oh, you all want to kill Tyrion. You all want
yeah,
to
see, that's
Stannis to
complicated. Yeah.
win Blackwater.
Well, he would.
Yeah,
Tyrion could escape through the tunnels and be okay in my story, in my version.
sure.
But that's also so big that we know it completely changes the story you love. But that's part of the fun of this. Like I always, my biggest Game of Thrones what if will always be. What if Ned just didn't listen to Baelish, kept packing, grabbed the girls, and left town? Like we're in a much better spot.
Yep.
But yeah,
Yep.
yeah. But Roderick has those little battles, the ones that you don't. I don't want Roderick to come back lose. And next thing he's getting beheaded. Not just because of that, but because that's the path. What if he goes another way? What if we go another way? And Theon never comes there. So yeah, maybe it is the.
Oh, or
But
what if John does actually leave? Very early on after Ned is dead and John tries to break his vows and leave the wall.
oh,
Like
so,
if it's Rob and Jon Snow, the two wolves. Give me the two wolves campaign.
I love that we're now taking this big battle game and we're just like, can we have plot points that change?
Yeah, can I get into the emotional head of this young man? I'm trying to think of something that is just more like
Yeah.
outright, just like actual top down battle tactics. I mean, like, yeah, I mean, I would like to run the Battle of Winterfell and see if I can
Mm-hmm.
keep. I mean, I'm kind of spoiling a little bit of an answer for a later question here, but can I run the Battle of Winterfell and save some lives? Can I save some
Yeah.
Dothraki? Can
Okay.
I save
Yeah.
some different people there in that
That,
situation? I
that
mean, because it's like
mm,
you look at that, like I wish Nikki Kumar was here. I say I wish, like I didn't have the power to just invite him. That's on me. But like he has said he's like what always blows his mind because as I pointed out, he has a master's in military history.
mm.
He's like what frustrates him about the Battle of Winterfell, he's like, is that it doesn't fucking make sense. He's like, why would you do this? Why would you do this? This like charging out and everything, and like and it's cool, obviously on a fantasy level.
It's budget too.
But yeah, we got a lot of people
We
here. We gotta thin this herd
we
out.
didn't have the budget for horses. What do you want? Like, what do you want?
Yeah, so
No,
I think maybe there's a situation there where you make the zombies try to climb Winterfell. You know,
yeah, no, the relitigating the strategy of the battle is a great way to look at that too. And the Battle of Winterfell is probably the spot. And even Danny arriving in Westeros and all the stuff where they get kind of taken out fast, all the players get kind of removed. Maybe we don't see it much on screen in the TV show. I know, but like Highgarden, going to Highgarden and the war, the battle that cost Olenna her life. Maybe you go there. Maybe it's something different. Be fun.
Oh, can we keep Viserion alive? Have the boats go a different path?
Yes,
that way they don't cross with the Iron Fleet.
That's part of it.
Like,
well,
that could be something.
You'll get to do that, Alden, in 2026 in Game of Thrones War for Westeros from Playside. We'll keep you up to date. Online co-op, single player strategy, a lot of options in there. Ooh, us online, can we work together or do we always have to fight? That'll be the question, Alden.
You do all the commanding and all the work and, store the grain and all that, and I'll be the dragon.
You just point. Okay, perfect.
I want to know what I'm honestly genuinely curious about the dragon mechanic of this game.
Yeah.
And is it going to be game breaking? Can only Targaryens have one? Or, I'm curious how they're going to do that.
Ooh, yeah, there you go. Yeah. Can you make Tyrion a dragon rider in the game? Go ahead and just make that happen. Yeah. There you go. So that is our take on War for Westeros. We'll update you when the game comes out in a year. We'll do a follow-up video on our actual choices.